Welcome adventurers, join us this week as we undertake a 50-mile crossing across the treacherous stretch to Crete. We are racing to find a safe harbour in the city before the major blow is due to come through the next day. But on arrival there is no safe berths available and we're facing a difficult dilemma of to what to do. Let us know what you think we should do. Kick off your shoes and come sailing barefoot to Crete. We are John and Ellie, the Barefoot Doctors, sailing and travelling around the globe. Join us as we share the adventure and explore the beauty of the world. 'Cause life is better barefoot.
After anchoring for 2 nights to get out of the way of a 25 to 35 knot storm, we now have to rush and sail 40 miles to Karpathos and then 50 miles to Sitia on Crete to avoid the next blow that is forecast to be even worse. So we leave in the early hours in an attempt to arrive in Karpathos before the headwinds roll in the afternoon.
Well, good morning guys. It's 5 o'clock in the morning and we are pulling up the pick. It's still dark out, as you can see, and we are setting off this morning bright and early. We've got about 40 miles to do this morning, so we're getting cracking. Heading to Karpathos. So, good morning, darling.
Morning, darling.
Let's go sailing. Oh, you can't see much out there. In here, I'm doing coffee for 2. Hi guys, well it's a beautiful morning. We've got about 12-13 knots of wind and we're heading to Karpathos. Woohoo! All the islands around here end in os, don't they?
They do. Amorgos, Leros, Lindos, Mykonos, Santorini. Oh, not
Santorini. But apart from that. Anyway, we've got the sun coming up behind us, or it's actually a little up now. Absolutely beautiful. And we will be at our destination in about 3.5 hours?
No, 5. I mean, it's
5.
it's a 34-ish mile trip altogether. We're doing about 6 knots, so it's about 6 hours.
Oh, that's true.
Rhodes is just behind us. Rhodos
Rhodos?
is the proper name for Rhodes. So another os.
Yes.
And the wind's going to veer around to the west. There's going to be more on our nose. We should get in by lunchtime, midday, or 1 o'clock.
So around about this time of the year, you have to kind of duck and hide and race and go in between islands, and you've got little weather windows that you've just got to go for, and from island to island.
Depending where you are, you have different legs, but down here there's a bigger gap. So we've got a 40-mile, 35-mile jump today, and then a 60-mile jump to Crete, actually.
And we're going to be hanging out in Crete, exploring Crete for about a month or so.
And then heading up to probably Simi by the sounds of things.
Yeah, we've been invited to go to Simi, where they have a huge celebration for Easter, and their Easter is May the 5th or 6th or something like that. So
Greek Orthodox date for the Easter. They have a different date for the Easter, and apparently on Simi they have huge celebrations, and they let off fireworks which are actually dynamite. So we thought, well, that sounds like a good plan. Let's go and see the dynamite blowing Simi apart in May.
So hope you join us for that one, guys. Yeah, we'll show you around Karpathos, so stay tuned because we should be there in a few hours.
You happy?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it, guys, but there's a really big tanker that's we're having to change direction because it's right in our path, or we're right in their path, either way, but it's pretty close. Woo! Where are we, honey?
We are in Karpathos. You asked me because you're not quite sure?
No,
or what?
I do know. I do know.
So Karpathos, little island just to the southwest of Rhodes, and it's a lovely little port. Cute high rocks above. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Quite nice lights which are being used as pigeons to nest.
And how many restaurants did you count on this strip?
I counted 15 from the start of the harbour there to the end of the harbour that side. 15. And that's the ones I could see directly, and I now see there's a few more around the corner and the back streets and all that sort of stuff. So I think we should go and get a little snack for snack and a drink.
Let's try the local snack and whatever it is drink-wise. Oh, that one. The orange juice, it's just the best. Apart from Morocco, but I think we've already told you that. It's really sweet, sweet oranges, and it's just delicious. I'm glad John got one too, so I don't have to share. 100% squeezed orange juice, because we saw them do it. It's so sweet. Oh. So thanks guys for following along with us. We really appreciate your support. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscriber button, because we really don't want you to miss out on all the exciting stuff we have coming up, especially the build of our new Portofino 52 catamaran aluminium that's going to be launched in a few months' time. So you know what to do. Click that subscriber button.
And do it now, guys.
Make it happen.
I'll be happy when I turn the engine off, but it's a nice calm day, and hopefully we'll get wind when we go around this corner.
Sure we will. So what happens on passage? There's a little bit of fishing.
Fish not on yet.
Great expectations. Crete. Land ho! It's Crete! Yay! Welcome to Sitia at last. The wind's blowing 24 knots. It's been a big day. We've been up since 5 and we're glad to be here. Sailing any region of the world requires a high degree of adaptability due to the often unpredictable weather. Weather forecasts can be unreliable, with winds arriving earlier or later than expected and shifting directions suddenly. Wind strengths provided are an average, which can obscure sudden gusts or lulls. Experienced sailors often rely on their intuition and knowledge of local weather patterns, which can sometimes be more reliable than the forecasts. Understanding the typical weather behaviour in a specific region can provide an edge. Although this unpredictability can be very frustrating, sailors must remain flexible, constantly monitoring real-time weather updates and being prepared to alter their course swiftly. This dynamic environment demands experience, intuition and a well-planned approach to ensure safety and successful navigation. In our experience, typically lighter weather forecasts tend to be the most unreliable, while stronger winds seem to be more accurately predicted. Here's some practical tips for sailors. Number 1 is to stay informed regularly. Check multiple weather sources including local forecasts, marine weather reports and satellite images. Another tip is to prepare for the worst. Always be prepared for the worst conditions than predicted. This includes having the right safety gear, sufficient supplies and an emergency plan. The next tip is flexible itinerary. Keep your itinerary flexible to allow for sudden changes in the weather. It's better to wait out a storm in a safe anchorage than it is to sail into a potentially dangerous condition. Overall, while sailing in regions with unpredictable weather can be challenging, by staying informed, prepared and flexible sailors can navigate these challenges effectively and safely.
Okay guys, if you appreciate all the work we're doing with these videos and want to help save lives around the world, please join our Patreon family where all the money goes to charity, and it actually does make a real difference to save lives from suicide and mental health problems around the world.
We also deliver aid work wherever we go. So that's what you're helping, as well as really helping any mental health issues that we come across in our sailing adventures.
So for only $3 a week, you can join the family of Patreons that is saving lives around the world.
So come join our Patreon family, guys, and we can all make the world a better place.
She's so good at this.
It's 2 o'clock. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m. It's falling. But that is 41, 42 knots. It's going to sustain for, according to the weather forecast, from 1 o'clock through to 7 o'clock. So we've got at least 5 hours of 40 knot winds.
And the problem for us is the winds are blowing us onto this dock, and we are outside the protection of the harbour as well. So we're going to get swell coming in, then it's going to veer around and progressively push us more and more onto the dock, but there's also going to be waves coming in with 40 knot winds from across the bay.
So let's reset. Where are we?
We are in Sitia, specifically with the intention of getting in before the blow, but there are not really any good spaces left in the harbour. So the only space left was one right on the outside of the harbour with
Pretty gnarly.
Very rough stones, not enough tie-ons. We've only got one sort of 10 meters out the front of us and two at the back of us, so it's really not good for tying on. But this is exposed, it's not protected, so we had to make a decision what we're going to do. Do we go out into the open water and anchor across on the other side of the bay, or the other option obviously is to stay here, and then the third option is to go into the harbour and anchor in the middle of the harbour, so we're in protection from the swell and hopefully some protection from the wind from the surrounding buildings.
But the downside of going in is that if the anchor drags, got so far to
drag.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of cabling and chains and things like that down there. So
our anchor might get fouled and we may have difficulty retrieving it.
That's just the realities of boat life, guys. We knew it was going to happen.
But it wasn't going to be this bad.
It's intensified, so...
In the last 48 hours, what was going to be a sort of 25 knot blow has turned into a predicted 42 knot blow, and the concern we have is always when they predict 25 knots, it's usually blowing 30, 32, 35.
Yeah.
So if they're saying 42, I'm really worried it's going to be 50. But the meteorologists also always say wind gusts may be 40% above predicted.
Great.
Yeah.
And what's even more concerning is the fishermen are a bit worried.
Yeah, when we came in, it was a local fisherman that said, this
is not good, and the wind's going to do this and that. So you always take the advice of the local guys. They know the area, they know what it does. And so we have, and we are, taking their advice, which was kind of confirming what we were thinking about, dropping the pick in the middle of the harbour here, or shooting across to get the shelter from the mountain from the other side.
Okay guys, so what we'd really appreciate is if you could share with us your ideas of what we should do right now. It's a difficult situation. Should we anchor up against the harbour wall, which is gnarly and it's a blow on, so it's going to be absolutely awful because we're outside of the harbour.
And it could bust our fenders too, because it's really sharp and gnarly.
The second option is to anchor in the harbour, which is protected from the wind or the waves, but it's very limited dragging room. There's all that garbage in the bottom of the harbour.
It's quite shallow.
And also we're likely to get our anchor fouled.
And what's the third option?
Third option, leave the harbour, drive 5 miles across the other side of the bay to the mountains, where we would be sitting in the lee of the mountains for the blow.
Because I struggle with a little bit, because we're actually leaving the protection of the harbour and we're sailing out into the storm we're trying to avoid.
So guys, please let us know what you think we should do. We'd really appreciate it.
Great.
Yeah.
We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode and understand just how it feels for sailors relying on the weather every day of their sailing lives. And for all you sailors out there, we are sure you're able to relate. And join us next week for another exciting adventure. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to be a part of an exciting way to save lives around the world, join our Patreon family and get up close and personal with us.